Coming up on Levin TV, the walkaway movement and great young patriots seeing through the left's propaganda.
There's more emotion than there is logic with the left. There's not a lot of critical thinking. There's not a lot of just common sense.
Leftist critics call my legal arguments about campaign finance law nonsense, and I call them nonsense. And radical Representative Gerald Nadler shows off his situational ethics.
Well, I don't remember saying that, but if I said it, I said it. But no, I don't agree with that today.
It all starts now.
This is where freedom reigns.
If you believe in America, if you believe in the Constitution empowers us. It's a new day. America's back. America's back, and America's going to get strong again. We're going to defend America, and we're going to defend our interests.
Liberty's voice, Levin TV.
Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin. This is Levin TV on CRTV.com.
Once upon a time, I was a liberal. But liberalism has changed, and I will no longer be a part of an ideology or political party that represents everything that contradicts my values of unity, equal opportunity, personal empowerment, compassion, and love. So I am walking away. And I encourage all of you to do the same. Walk away.
That is a brilliant and courageous young man, because you know that the left and many in the gay community, media and so forth, will attack him, or even worse, dismiss him and pretend he doesn't even exist. And so there's another gentleman, and there are many, men and women. His name is Mike, let me find my paper here, Nificent, I believe it's pronounced. He's a political commentator and blogger, grew up as a moderate, voted for Obama twice. And this is what we saw the other day that my wife showed me from the American Greatness website. He chose to walk away as well. Let's check it out. Go ahead.
I was never a Democrat. I was always a moderate. Same with my parents. They're both moderate. You know, I just kind of grew up in that household, believed in hard work, personal responsibility, never took handouts. Nothing was ever handed to me. I've always, worked for everything I've had. So off top, I already feel like I couldn't be a Democrat just because I knew that they were the party of like welfare and, handouts and their care about the poor, which, it's not like I don't care about the poor, but it's also like you don't work, you don't eat, right? So that's always been my stance on it. But I would say the moment that I decided to walk away was after the election. After the election of Donald Trump. Now, I voted for Obama. I voted for him twice. I'm not going to lie. I voted for the first black president as a black man in my first time voting. I'm not going to not vote for the first black president. I mean, it's an easy decision. His second term, however, I felt like I paid more attention to what he was doing and like what he said if he had kept his promises from his first term, but I still gave him the nod over Mitt Romney because I had been told my whole life that Republicans are racist. They don't like black people and they only care about rich people. And I was black and not rich, so again, no brainer, vote for Obama. So I voted for Obama again. And then when the 2016 election came around, that's when I really was kind of forced to look at politics because at that point, I'm done with college, I'm out in the real world, I'm working, so I'm thinking like, all right, how does a Republican in office affect my life personally? And I knew that Hillary Clinton was corrupt, and I just didn't side with either candidate. And where I was living at the time, a super blue city, Minneapolis, very democratic, extremely progressive. I'd never lived in a city like that. I lived in a place where people didn't really get into politics and all that. But Minneapolis was extremely Hillary Clinton, very far left, and that's where I encountered like social justice warriors, and free speech was kind of shunned up there. It was kind of free speech on crutches up there. They really didn't want you speaking freely, I guess. And there were things that were already kind of had me pulling away from the Democratic Party. Even though I voted Democrat, I never considered myself a Democrat. I just kind of allowed myself to be indoctrinated by some of that ideology and rhetoric. But after Donald Trump won, everyone was kind of losing their minds. It was like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. Oh my God, everything's falling apart. America's over. We're going to be at war with North Korea. You're going back to Africa. They're going to ship everyone out of the country. I just kind of like realized, man, there's more emotion than there is logic with the left. There's really not a lot of logic. There's not a lot of critical thinking. There's not a lot of just common sense. And I found myself gravitating further and further away from the left. They have been in Trump derangement syndrome going on 2 years now. Like, they haven't stopped. It's been radical social justice movement after radical social justice movement. You know, I saw a lot of things with the left that I just did not align with at all. And the more that I learned about Donald Trump, the more I saw, like, the media's been lying about him. And they've been lying to me about who I am and what my worldview should be. You know, I really used to think CNN was a trusted news source. I really actually thought that they were centrist and that they didn't craft narratives and that they didn't try to indoctrinate anyone. Come to find out, that's exactly what they were doing. They were telling me a lot of things like, you know, it's open season on black men and I should watch my back. But nothing about my life ever made me believe that I was a victim or that, you know, I couldn't support Democrats, yet they were, or Republicans, yet they were telling me I couldn't support Republicans. You know, I saw that how many times they lied on Donald Trump. They lied about how many people were at his inauguration. They lied about him pouring, like, fish food into the koi pond when he went over to, I think it was Japan. You know, I saw a lot of petty actions coming from the mainstream media, Hollywood, you know, Democrats, friends on Facebook and social media. I just saw a lot of things that made me realize how radical the left truly was. Walking away from the left was the greatest decision I've made in my life. One of the greatest decisions I made in my life, because for once I'm thinking for myself. I see myself as an independent, you know, someone who makes decisions for themselves, someone that's not going to be indoctrinated by some narrative. And that's my story, guys. So I never really was on the left. I just decided I don't belong there, and walking away from them was pretty easy.
Let's scroll down and take a look at the comment. There's a little comment on there we'll eventually find. There it is. My name is Michael. Well done, well said. If you have heard yet listened to a guy by the name of Mark Levin, he is a constitutional scholar, and he has a free podcast. Individual liberty is from God. Big Mike. Quite right. So I wanted to show you some of this because it's really positive. And if you were able to watch Life, Liberty, and Levin on Sunday on Fox last night, I think you would have walked away from that really, really positive. With two outstanding young women, Candace Owens and Katie Pavlich. They were absolutely spectacular. So there are young people, and there are organizations like Turning Point USA, like Young Americans Foundation, like Campus Reform, and so many others. A group called FIRE that's involved, and as I say, others that are really duking it out at the college and university level. We need more. We need to break up the monopoly that is the university and college system, the ideological monopoly that we as federal taxpayers and state taxpayers subsidize. There's no reason for this. And the tenure system in which faculty vote on faculty and protect faculty as long as they're from similar Ivy League schools and share the same ideology, this has to stop. That's not what colleges and universities are supposed to be about at all.